So the big news coming out is the new CEO of Twitter, Linda Yaccarino. These names, man, I'm telling you. Linda Yaccarino. Let's see here. I've got a thing for it. Here she is. Meet Twitter's new CEO. And he says Linda will focus primarily on the business operations while he focuses on product design and technology. And right here, this is what I want to focus on. Looking forward to working with Linda to transform this platform, Twitter, into X, the everything app. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Linda and her background. We are. But I don't want to focus on that because I think the main focus that everybody is going to be talking about with her is what about the free speech? It's going to get rid of the free speech, all this type of stuff. I don't want to focus on that. I don't think that's the important thing. I really don't. Free speech is obviously important. I'm with you there, but I don't think that is the important thing. I think that's what they want you to focus on. Something I always talk about is they like to divert people's attention to certain things. And so when the news came out that she was a part of, the WEF, everybody instantly went to, oh boy, she's going to attack the free speech platform, which again, I don't want to focus on that. Let's talk about stuff with the X. But just to give you an idea of who this lady is, she's from the WEF. If we take a look at her thing, she's was chairman of NBCU. That's important. We're going to talk about that. Global leader, which that's her WEF background, of course. And then there's a little hashtag that's interesting. Future of work. Future of work. Very interesting as far as that goes. And again, I showed you her WEF page. Let's just keep looking at her background, her biography or qualifications, whatever you want to put it. Her resume. There we go. Resume. Let's resume. Executive chair, January 19th to present. She is not leaving the WEF to join Twitter. She will stay with the WEF as she is on Twitter. Yaccarino is the chairman of the WEF's task force on future of work. Again, very interesting. Now, right here, again, she's part of NBCU, or was, and sits on the WEF's Media, Entertainment, and Culture Industry Governors Steering Committee. The entertainment, media, culture, that's important. Pay attention to that. She's also highly engaged with the Value in Media initiative. So she's got a huge background on media. She's also huge on the advertising and partnerships. That's what she did with the NBC. We'll talk about that in a second. Ad Council. This is interesting. As 2021 and 2022 Ad Council chair, Yaccarino partnered with the business community, the White House, and government agencies to create Koof Vitamin campaign featuring Pope Francis. So we got a connection here with Pope Boy, Mr. Popey, Mr. Poopy, Pope. That's interesting. This was a part of the campaign. This is one of the things that she was pushing as far as that goes. You can see it right there, pushing the vitamin stuff. So she's got a background a lot with the WEF. She's got a background with media, entertainment, advertising. She's got a connection with the Pope and all the elites and stuff. She's clearly in there. She's going to stay with the WEF as she's with Twitter and all that stuff. But she's also a major advocate for equality and pushing the feminism agenda. She was a part of the Seen and Heard in the Equality Lounge at the 2020 Davos. And she says 50% of workers today will need to be trained or develop new skills to do their jobs as early as next year. There's a portion of the working population that are the most vulnerable. One of those positions is women. So she's big on the feminism, equality type of stuff. Linda, this was her quote, Linda Yaccarino, chairman of advertising and client partnerships, NBC Universal, on why diversity, inclusion, and ethical tech needs to be taken into consideration together, and how to accelerate the progress into the next decade. What we were talking about before, she's a part of this feminism, the equality movement, all this type of stuff. And I'll just go ahead and touch base on it. I know this is going to be the main talking point for a lot of other guys. I'm going to let them handle it, but I'll just go ahead and just touch on it. It's definitely going to play a part as far as information censoring, banning, removing of those who don't follow the narrative, information lockdown. This is something that the WEF pushes, information warfare, all this stuff. If you guys want to read this article, this is from 2022. They're talking about with Telegram and all the different programs that are getting that basically go around all their censorship platforms and everything like that. This plays a role. It will play a role in the future. I'm not saying that it's not. Again, I just want to kind of focus on other stuff. So we understand that that will play a role with this new lady coming in. So again, I'm seeing that being the main focal point, but with this, I want to take a look at the X app. So let's look at this from that perspective. If you don't know what the X app is, it is Elon's attempt to create the everything app. So it's the same thing that he put in his tweet. He has specifically mentioned China's WeChat app and how he wants to turn X app into that. And if you don't believe me, straight from his own mouth.
We don't even have an app that's as good as WeChat in China. And like in China, you can like live on WeChat basically. Yeah. It's like, yeah, everyone's like, like you live on WeChat, you do payments, you do everything. It's like, yeah, it's great. And we don't have anything like WeChat outside of China. So I was like, my idea would be like, how about if we just copy WeChat? Hey, copy them.
Buys Twitter, copies WeChat.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
So he's talking about how people in China live off WeChat, and he's entirely correct. WeChat, basically, if you want to get anywhere on the internet and websites, any of your media platforms, payments, your wallet is all on there. If you want to get news, if you want to go shopping, it has your social credit system that's built through it. Passport system, it has your digital ID built into it, your medical information, everything like that. China has specifically designed it that way. And it's important to understand that a lot of the programs that China is introducing, they're test runs for the world. People want to say China is taking over the world. Well, something to keep in mind is the WEF has been funding all of these programs that are going on in China because it's a testing ground. So when they say China wants to take over the world and put communism everywhere, it's half right. It's the WEF through China that's introducing all these programs. So that's what WeChat is. It's that type of program. The X app wants to do that and more. It wants to be a super version of it. And I think this is going to be a major part of that beast system when it comes into play. Now, I'll let Elon Musk kind of talk a little bit more about what he wants this X app to be. I'll be honest, listening to him it's a drag sometimes, but there's a lot of information in this. So this is about a 2.5 minute video. This is at the World Global Governance thing. I think that's what it's called, from this past year, where he's talking about what he wants to turn XApp into. Check this out.
How do you see Twitter? If we say it 5 years down the road, what's your vision for this platform? What should it do?
Well, I think I'd like to, have this sort of long-term vision for something called X.com from way back in the day, which is kind of like a sort of like an everything app, where it's just maximally useful. It does, payments, so it provides financial services, provides information flow, really anything digital, and also provides secure communications. So really I think be as useful as possible, as entertaining as possible, and also to be like a source of truth. Like if you want to find out what's going on and what's really going on, then you should be able to go on X, the X app, and find out. So it's a sort of a source of truth and a maximally useful, I guess app is about the wrong word, but system. And Twitter is essentially an accelerant to that sort of maximally useful everything app. I think the trying to have as many organizations and people and institutions verified as being legitimately those people and organizations is important. And to have the organizational affiliation clearly identified, so that if you want to find out if somebody's actually, if an account is actually, say, from a member of parliament or a journalist, or if a, let's say, if a Twitter handle is actually belongs to, say, Disney Corporation or something like that, you can go on Twitter and it's sort of an identity layer of the internet, and you can confirm that that is in fact the case. And I think once you've got these sort of interlocking sort of identities, it's actually very hard to be deceptive in that case, because and it's also, you have a reputation to protect at that point. So I think then people are far more likely to be measured in their response, and be more reasonable, since they have reputational value at that point.
Just spit it out, man. That 2.5 minutes, if he just didn't mumble like that, could be a lot shorter. But there's a lot of important things that he said in there, and there's a lot of things that he kind of referenced that he didn't quite say out loud that's also important. So he talked about, first of all, payment system. He wants to put payment commerce type of situation there. Well, we know this is something that they've been working on. This comes out from, I think this is 2022. Yes, 2022, June of 2022. That Twitter was working on a payments program similar to PayPal and has already been filing for the license. So if we take a little bit further, let's see, Twitter Inc. is working to introduce payments on the social media platform and has been applying for regulatory license. Yeah, they've been working on this since summer of last year. So they're working on a payment system through this. So they're working closer, getting closer to that WeChat system. It also says Musk has previously said that the Twitter acquisition would be a part of a master plan to create the Everything app. Again, that's the X app, service that would offer social networking, peer-to-peer payments, and e-commerce shopping. So now here's the question. The question comes in the form of, is Twitter or X, however you want to put it, is that going to connect up to the FedNow service? We have to wait on that. I mean, this has, again, been since last year, summer of last year, and they haven't gotten anything out yet. So my question is, are they waiting for FedNow to come out, and is this going to hook up with that? So that is something that we need to pay attention to. We need to watch for and see if that comes about. Now, one of the other interesting things about this is the e-commerce shopping. So again, this is adding further onto the X app. And don't worry, we're going to get to Linda in a second. She plays a part of this. But he's talking about shopping, e-commerce, buying things on there. So we have to see again if it's going to connect to FedNow, and then we have to see as far as this goes. This is a part about creating the Everything app. We've talked about with like Amazon and whatnot. I mean, is Amazon going to partner with X? Is that going to be part of it? That's definitely something to pay attention to. But let's go to a conversation that Musk had. This is before she became CEO. This is a conversation that he was having with this Linda chick as far as this goes. Check this out.
So you've got a massive platform. You have a vision that is a spectrum of just daily open source conversation. And they can conduct their lives, their business, their commerce, whatever they can do on your platform. That's a pretty big vision. But in the middle should be advertising opportunity. That sounds like a great opportunity. I can talk about my brand. I can get my customers to communicate, and then they could also buy stuff. That sounds pretty good, right?
You'll be able to buy things just directly on Twitter. One click, boom, done.
So right there, we're seeing it. And she plays a part in this because that's her area. That is her area. She's good at advertising, partnerships, networking, getting that type of stuff set up. And so that's going to play a part. That's going to be a part that she plays in this, a role that she plays. So it's important to understand that that's something that Musk wants to do with the X app. He wants to get that going. And then she is going to play a role in that as well. So we're seeing a move with the payment stuff. We're seeing a move towards the commerce and everything like that. And then we're also, again, seeing the move with a digital ID through the verification system. You have to remember Twitter Blue, you have to link your bank account. You have to upload a picture of your driver's license. So if you want to sign up for that, you have to verify your identity. That is creating a digital identity. It's also connecting your bank account. So again, we're seeing the return whereof the IMF it was talking about how you need a smartphone. Most people are running off smartphones. You need a bank account. You're attaching your bank account to your Twitter profile. And then you also need a digital ID. When you do your verification, you're basically creating a digital ID that way. So you're seeing all of the systems from the IMF that they're talking about now getting put into play with this X app.